What if your computer could work while you sleep? Not just answer questions, but actually open files, browse the web, write code, send messages, and make decisions on your own behalf. By February 2026, that question is no longer hypothetical. It is the center of a five-way battle between companies with very different answers about how much you should trust a machine with your digital life.
For 2 years, AI meant chatbots. You typed a question, you got an answer, you copied it somewhere useful. But in early 2025, a new word started appearing everywhere: agents. An AI agent does not just answer, it acts. It opens your browser, reads your files, sends emails, writes and runs code. The shift from chatbot to agent is like the shift from a cookbook to a personal chef who buys the groceries, cooks the meal, and cleans the kitchen.
The first serious attempt to build a general AI agent came from a small team in Shenzhen. On March 6, 2025, Butterfly Effect launched Manus. It could research topics, process data, build websites, and write reports, all without human input. 2 million people joined its waitlist in the first week. Invitation codes resold for $7,000. Manus ran entirely in the cloud, using a squad of sub-agents: a planner, an executor, a knowledge agent, and a verifier, each powered by a mix of Anthropic Claude and Alibaba Chuan models.
But Manus had problems. Tasks would crash midway. Files uploaded to its cloud vanished into servers in unknown jurisdictions. The US Treasury reviewed a $75 million investment in the company over concerns about Chinese AI regulations. Users loved the ambition but feared the opacity. Then on December 29, 2025, Meta acquired Manus for over $2 billion, signaling that big tech saw autonomous agents as the next frontier.
Meanwhile, a different philosophy emerged from Singapore. On May 22, 2025, Skywork launched its super agents globally. Skywork did not try to control your computer. Instead, it turned prompts into polished deliverables. Research reports, slide decks, podcasts, even websites, all powered by its deep research engine. It was fast and beautiful, but it could not touch your local files, run code on your machine, or act autonomously in the background. Think of Skywork as a brilliant graphic designer who works only from their own studio. You send the brief, you get the output. You never hand over the keys to your office.
Then in November 2025, an Austrian developer named Peter Steinberger open-sourced a project that changed everything. Originally called Claudebot, a name so close to Anthropic's Claude that a trademark dispute forced a rename, first to Maltbot, then to OpenClaw. The concept was radical: a single always-on process running on your own computer, connected to WhatsApp, Telegram, Gmail, Slack, and over 50 other services. It could browse the web, read your files, run code, and learn new skills, and it was free. Within weeks, OpenClaw became the fastest-growing project on GitHub, passing 200,000 stars. Andrej Karpathy endorsed it. A Lex Fridman interview reached 600,000 views. 700 developers packed a San Francisco meetup. 500 attended ClawCon in Vienna.
But OpenClaw had no guardrails. It ran with root-level access to your machine. On February 2, 2026, security researchers disclosed CVE 2026-25253, a one-click remote code execution flaw that let attackers steal authentication tokens through a malicious link. Over 42,000 OpenClaw control panels were found exposed on the public internet. On February 11th, Wired published a story titled, "I loved my OpenClaw agent until it turned on me," describing how the agent, when given email access, began acting erratically. Days later, a Meta AI safety researcher reported that an OpenClaw agent had deleted large portions of her inbox.
Into this chaos, Anthropic made its move. On January 12, 2026, it launched Claude Cowork as a research preview inside the Claude desktop app on macOS. Cowork looked like a chat window but worked like a full operating system. Under the hood, it ran a sandboxed Linux virtual machine using Apple's virtualization framework. The agent could only see folders you explicitly granted access to. Every action required your approval before execution. It was the anti-OpenClaw: maximum capability, maximum restraint.
On January 30th, 2026, Anthropic quietly uploaded 11 specialized plugins for Claude Cowork to GitHub. Plugins for sales, finance, legal, bioresearch, and more. No press conference, no keynote, just markdown files. Within 72 hours, Bloomberg reported that $285 billion in market value had evaporated from software and professional services stocks. Goldman Sachs software basket recorded its worst day since the April tariff sell-off. Traders at Jefferies called it the SA-apocalypse. Suddenly, the question was not whether AI agents could replace software. It was how fast.
To understand why these tools matter differently, imagine one task. A marketing manager named Rana has 50 client PDF reports. She needs to extract key metrics into a spreadsheet and create a slide deck. With Manus, she uploads the files to a cloud server, waits 2 hours, and receives polished output, but her confidential data now lives on servers she cannot audit. With Skywork, she cannot upload local files at all. She must copy and paste content manually. With OpenClaw, the agent reads every file in the folder directly from her hard drive, finishes in minutes, but also sees her tax returns, her medical records, anything else in that directory. With Claude Co-work, she grants access to one specific folder, reviews the agent's plan step by step, and keeps every file on her own machine.
Here is the key difference in one image. With Manus, your data travels to cloud servers operated by Meta. With Skywork and Kimi Claw, your data sits in their respective cloud environments in Singapore and China. With Claude Co-work, your data never leaves your machine. The agent runs in an isolated virtual machine on your own laptop and only sees the folders you unlock. With OpenClaw, the agent sees your entire local file system, with no wall between it and your most sensitive files. With NanoClaw, each agent runs inside its own Linux container with only a mounted folder visible. Same local machine, very different trust boundaries.
OpenClaw's explosion created an irresistible opportunity. Skywork was the first to move. On February 12, 2026, it launched Skybot on its iOS and Android apps, a cloud-hosted virtual machine running OpenClaw's own framework packaged for non-technical users. No terminal, no command line, just a split-screen interface where you chat on the left and watch the agent work on a live VM desktop on the right. 70 pre-integrated skills. A free 1-hour trial, then $49.90 per month for unlimited use. Skywork had taken the open-source engine and wrapped it in a consumer product.
3 days later, on February 15, 2026, Moonshot AI launched Kimi Claw directly in the browser at kimi.com. One click, no download, no server. A full OpenClaw agent running 24/7 in the cloud, with 5,000 community skills from Claw Hub, 40 gigabytes of cloud storage, and persistent memory that remembered your preferences across sessions. The backend ran Moonshot's own Kimi K2.5 model, making it free to use at the base level. Paid tiers started at $39 a month. In 24 hours, Kimi Claw became the easiest way to run an AI agent on Earth.
On February 16, 2026, Meta's Manus joined the wave. It launched Manus agents on Telegram, letting anyone create a personal AI agent by scanning a QR code. No app download, no subscription required. The agent handled text, voice, images, and documents, remembered your communication style, and could integrate with Gmail, Calendar, and Notion. Where OpenClaw required a dedicated Linux machine and hours of setup, Manus delivered a comparable experience in a chat window within 30 seconds. It was the ultimate low-barrier play from the world's largest social media company.
On the same day OpenClaw's worst vulnerability was disclosed, February 2, 2026, a developer named Gabriel Cohen posted NanoClaw to Hacker News. It did what OpenClaw did, but in roughly 500 lines of code and with one critical difference. Every agent ran inside its own isolated Linux container. On macOS, it used Apple containers. On Linux, Docker. The agent could only see files explicitly mounted into its sandbox. Andrej Karpathy called the architecture really interesting. NanoClaw used the same Claude agent SDK that powered Anthropic's own Claude Co-work, but as a free, open-source alternative.
Large companies faced a dilemma. Employees were already installing OpenClaw on work machines. On February 6, 2026, a New York startup called Runlayer launched OpenClaw for Enterprise. Its ToolGuard system could block prompt injection attacks in under 100 milliseconds and raised injection resistance from 8.7% to 95%. It was SOC 2 and HIPAA certified, logged everything to Datadog and Splunk, and was already deployed at companies like Gusto, Instacart, and AngelList. Runlayer's pitch was clear: don't ban the agent, govern it.
On February 14, 2026, Peter Steinberger, the man who built OpenClaw in a single hour as a WhatsApp to Claude relay, and then watched it become the fastest-growing open-source project on GitHub, announced he was joining OpenAI. Sam Altman confirmed the hire the next day. OpenClaw would move to an independent foundation with OpenAI sponsorship. The creator of the open-source agent had been absorbed by the biggest closed-source AI company in the world. The community was divided. Some saw it as validation, others saw it as the beginning of the end.
So here we are, 5 philosophies of trust for the age of AI agents. Manus says, trust us completely, we will do it all in our cloud. Skywork and its Skybot say, watch me work through the glass, intervene if you like. Kimmy Claw says, everything runs in your browser tab, skills are community built. Claude Cowork says, nothing leaves your machine, nothing happens without your approval. OpenClaw says, you are the admin, configure your own security. And NanoClaw says, every agent is locked in its own container, no exceptions.
As Ethan Malik wrote in February 2026, the shift from apps to agents is not about replacing software. It is about replacing the way we interact with software. The AI agent wars are not a war. They are an ecosystem. Manus serves people who want total automation. Skybot and Kimmy Claw serve people who want convenience without setup. Claude Cowork serves people who want power with guardrails. OpenClaw and NanoClaw serve people who want to own every piece of the stack. The right choice depends on one question. How much of your digital life are you willing to hand over to an acting machine?
This story is based on reporting and research from the following sources.